Okay, good day, eh? You spend money on the army. You spend hours painting it. You show up to the table, and then you want to flip the whole thing into the sun. Here's the question nobody's asking. Was that the game's fault or yours? Stay with me, because the answer might actually save your hobby. Today, we're getting into one of the most talked about but least understood tensions in wargaming. Win at all costs versus fun first. And no, this isn't another just be nice to everyone lecture. This is about why good players burn out, why tables get toxic, and why some of the most passionate hobbyists you've ever met just vanish one day. Very much like your motivation after assembling 200 points of infantry at midnight, eh? Oh, beauty. If you've ever rage packed your dice, played someone who made the game feel like a job interview, or asked yourself, why am I even doing this? This episode is for you. Hit like and subscribe if you want to keep the hobby going, eh? And let's get into it. Welcome back to C7 Hobbies. I'm Colossal Meltdown. This is episode 28, where we don't just talk about paint recipes and tactics. We talk about what keeps you in the game for the long haul. This episode lives in the playing the long game, the playlist about being resilient while enjoying the competitive and casual sides of the hobby. Oh, yeah, don't worry, we're in the middle of a move, eh? All right, let's stop dilly-dallying and let's dive in. The core conflict, setting the battlefield. All right, let's define the two sides. Side one, win at all costs. WAAC. The player who optimizes everything. Lists, angles, psychology, your will to live. Side two, fun first. The player who shows up for the vibes, the narrative, the laughs, and the post-game pints. Now here's what most people get wrong about this. Both are valid. Wanting to win? Normal, human, good even. Wanting a chill, story-driven experience? Also completely legitimate. The problem isn't which camp you're in. The problem is when the two camps show up to the same table without a map. Oh, that's where things go sideways, eh? And this is exactly what we're going to address. The first part, emotional regulation. Because if your mood for the entire week depends on whether you rolled a hot on turn 3, you're not playing a game anymore. You're using a game to manage your self-worth. And trust me, that is a terrible management strategy. The dice don't care, man. What win at all costs actually looks like. Okay, let's be honest about what WAAC really is, because it's more than just trying hard. Trying hard is good. I love trying hard. Trying hard built armies, won tournaments, got some of us through a lot of dark winters, eh? But WAAC is when winning becomes the only acceptable outcome. You start seeing symptoms like rule lawyering at the exact moment the game was getting fun. Gotcha mechanics deployed with the energy of someone who has been waiting all week for this. Zero interest in the narrative, casual or learning games. And someone, you know who, measuring charge angles like they're calculating orbital re-entry, eh? We've all met that guy. Some of us have even been that guy. No judgment. Hey, I said no judgment. Because here's what's actually going on underneath the WAAC mentality. Fear of losing. Not the game, but what losing means. Need for external validation. Winning is proof of their worth. Competitive identity overload. I'm a war gamer, therefore I must win. Therefore, if I don't win, I'm not a war gamer. Therefore, I am nothing. That is a lot of existential pressure to put on plastic men, women, bugs, or whatever floats your boat, eh? And here's the kicker that nobody talks about. WAAC players often don't even enjoy their wins. Because the second the game ends, the pressure doesn't leave. It just resets. Next game, next threat, next opportunity to prove yourself all over again. It's like ordering a double-double, and getting exactly what you ordered and still being stressed. At some point, you gotta ask, am I even enjoying this coffee or just surviving it? Fun first, the other trap. Okay, so WAAC has problems. Got it. But let's not pretend the fun first crowd is without sin. Fun first players at their best are the heart of this hobby. They're social, they're generous, narrative driven, they create memorable moments. They're the ones who bring snacks and painted terrain, eh? Genuinely, thank you. You are doing the Lord's work. But taken too far, fun first becomes something else entirely. It becomes avoidance of real challenge. I don't want to stress, so I'll never push myself. Stagnation, some mistakes, forever, with a smile. And the worst part of all, the polite suffering face. You know the polite suffering face. Okay, no worries, it's fine, eh? I'll just play turn 5 with one unit. That's not fun. That's emotional damage with the Canadian accent, eh? The point isn't to abandon competition. The point is to play with intention. Expectation alignment. Here's a truth that will save more games than any army list change ever could. The conversation before the game matters more than anything that happens during it. Before the dice hit the table, 30 seconds. That's all it takes. Ask, hey, are we playing competitive or casual today? Are you testing a new list or bringing your optimized stuff? What kind of game do you want? That's it. That's the whole ritual. Because mismatch expectations are the number one reason games feel bad. Not dice, not matchups, not even army balance. Someone showed up wanting a grudge match. Someone else showing up wanting a story. And now you've got a grudge match wrapped in a story that no one's enjoying. Pre-game alignment. It's free. Takes 30 seconds. Saves 3 hours, eh? Why players quit. The real reason. Now we get to it. Why do players actually leave? Well, not to take a break, not to skip a weekend, eh? But genuinely, quietly, permanently leave the hobby. It's not losing, it's not expensive models, it's not even bad rules writing. And believe me, we've all had reasons to quit over that, eh? It's the combination. 4 things work together. 1. Emotional burnout. Repeated bad experiences with no recovery buffer. Every game feels like a stress test. Eventually the brain says, nope, we're done. We're going back to chess. Chess is simple. Chess doesn't have 47 special rules and an FAQ update every Tuesday. Number 2, identity damage. I lost, therefore I'm bad, therefore I don't belong here. That loop is silent, and it's vicious, and it happens to every player at every skill level. Number 3, social friction. The table feels tense. Someone's always on the edge. Games feel adversarial in a way that isn't fun. Not competitive adversarial, but personal adversarial. That's exhausting. Nobody shows up on a Saturday to feel like that they're in a meeting, eh? Number 4, invisible progress. No sense of improvement, no feeling of getting better, just loss after loss and no idea why. And here's what makes all of this heartbreaking. Most players don't quit loudly. There's no dramatic post, there's no goodbye video, no flipping the table on the way out. They just stop responding to messages, stop showing up on game nights. One day their paints are on the shelf, and the week after that, they're on eBay. One day they're painting minis and talking about their next conversion project debating lore and the next day gone. Vanish like your opponent's measuring tape when it's their turn to check distances, eh? Yeah. How to actually fix it. 5 tools. Okay. So we've diagnosed the problem. Now let's build a solution. 5 tools, simple, practical, starting now. Tool number 1. Separate the outcome from identity. You don't lose because you're bad at this. You lose because dice variance hits you sideways. There was a strategy gap you hadn't closed yet, or you forgot about that one special rule again. Yeah, we all have that rule. You are not the result. You are the player. Those are different things. Tool number 2, redefine your win condition. Here's a move that sounds small, but genuinely changes everything. Stop making win the game your only success metric. Add personal ones, like I activated all my abilities correctly, or I stayed calm when the dice went cold, or I remembered my special rule. Yeah, including that one. That's a win. That's growth. And unlike dice results, you can actually control that. Tool number 3, the pre-game alignment ritual. 30 seconds every time. Hey, what kind of game are we having today, eh? That's it. You're done. You've just prevented 70% of post-game bitterness with one sentence. You're welcome. Tool number 4, post-game reflection, not post-game ranting. After the game, ask yourself 3 questions. What went well? What did I learn? And what would I try differently? Not, why did the dice hate me specifically? And is it personal? Reflection builds growth. Ranting builds resentment. Pick one. Tool number 5, protect the social contract. This is the one that underpins all others. Every game you play is a shared experience. You and your opponent are building something together, even in a competitive match. The moment it stops being shared, it stops being a game, eh? It becomes a performance. And performances, those are exhausting. Final thoughts. Here's where I'll leave you, eh? If you only care about winning, you'll burn out. Maybe not this month and maybe not this year, but eventually the pressure compounds and the joy drains. If you only care about fun, you'll stagnate. And one day you'll realize you're not growing, and that stops feeling fun too. But if you find the balance, that's where the long-term players live, eh? That's where you improve and enjoy the process, where you win and feel good about it, where you lose and come back the next week anyway. That's the game within the game. And honestly, it's more interesting than any army list you'll ever write. All right, so drop it in the comments. Are you more WAAC fun first or somewhere in the middle just trying to survive like the rest of us, eh? I genuinely want to know. The comment section on this one's going to be interesting, eh? This episode hit something real for you. Hit like, share it with someone who needs to hear it, eh? And subscribe for more episodes on hobby mindset, performance, and staying in this hobby for the long haul. Keep your dice hot, your expectations realistic, and remember, someone out there is having fun with the same game you're overthinking. Maybe that person this weekend. Okay, I have a hobby hangout on Twitch for those interested in painting with an awesome group. Details below in the description, along with information about our Discord server. Be sure to check out the Minutes and Former Miniature podcast. Get your latest tabletop gaming news with a comedic spin. You can find it on YouTube, Apple, Amazon, Spotify, and most podcasting sites. I now have affiliate links below in the description. You can support the channel by purchasing hobby supplies I use. It does not cost you anything. In fact, it saves you money and it supports the channel. It's a win-win. Totally awesome, eh? Or you can buy me a coffee. Whatever floats your boat, eh? I greatly appreciate all the support because without you, this would not be possible. So thank you. Now go forth, be awesome, and paint for the paint gods.